and the second ever East Africa ICT Summit, an event that brings the world to Kenya in discussion of current issues, will be held at the beginning of next month here in the city of Nairobi. And the theme of that conference is, we have the bandwidth, now what? And here to discuss the meeting's agenda is Sean Moroney, the ITEC chairman.
Hi, Stephen. Nice to be with you.
Hi, welcome to Business Watch.
Thank you.
Good. Now, this is the second such meeting. Let's begin with the meeting and ITEC East Africa ICT Summit. Where did it all begin?
Well, really it started back in 1990 when we held our first ICT conference here in Nairobi as ITEC Kenya. And that has, since then we've been holding annual ICT events in Kenya and around the rest of Africa. And we decided last year really to try and consolidate these events into a regional event for East Africa, where we bring together the ICT professionals from throughout the region and really try to maximize the educational and business input that we could provide them in one consolidated event for the region.
I'm looking at the theme, very interesting and very timely, because it's actually 2 years since we saw the first submarine cable land on our shores.
Right.
What will be the highlights of this year's conference? What will be discussed?
Well, we're focusing on three themes, and that is cloud computing, because now that we've got sufficient international bandwidth, we really can talk seriously about using cloud computing and software services over the internet. And then we're looking at data security, which is an ongoing sort of priority for enterprises throughout the region. And then in the third stream, we're looking at mobile applications. And that's because really Kenya has taken the lead in terms of mobile applications development, both regionally and internationally. And we want really to provide a showcase for the new emerging software developers in this area. And so we'll be talking in that stream about the business models that they need to look at, how to market their products internationally, and then also, to have an opportunity to talk about their products.
Let's begin by defining cloud computing, but particularly to those who do not yet know what the concept is about.
It's basically making use of resources outside of your office. It's situating your files, your documents, your software requirements at a server that is secure in your supplier's premises. So it enables an enterprise to cut down on their hardware investments, their upfront hardware investments, and it actually provides a lot more flexibility in terms of the mobility of the enterprise's staff and the 24/7 availability of services throughout the region in which they're operating. It is particularly appropriate for enterprises that are working across border and across multiple sites.
From your observation, how has the uptake of cloud computing been in the East African region?
I think there's a certain amount of hesitancy about it. It's still a concept that has to be proven. And so that's why really we want to use the summit as a platform for the vendors who are now trying to sell these services, such as Safaricom and Seven Seas and enterprises like that, to actually talk in detail about what it is that they are offering and where enterprises can plug into these new services.
The second theme, or second issue under the theme,
yes,
is cybersecurity.
Yes.
Are we saying that maybe this region is still vulnerable? Yes, we have the bandwidth, but we haven't quite found a way of securing what we have, securing our networks.
It's hard to say, but I mean, the vulnerability transcends borders, and it's not only applicable in East Africa, but what is certain is that as a result of the increased access that that we have in the region to the outside world, and vice versa, that hackers have so much more access to our systems here through the increased bandwidth. Therefore, security measures have to be heightened, and that's across the board, enterprises, small and large, and government. You and I have read and seen in the media how the US, for example, is investing billions of dollars in cybersecurity at the government level, because they perceive it as being a new frontier of conflict and insecurity. And so really it's important for East Africa to actually take that lead and put in place the measures that are necessary to defend enterprises and government from hackers and from security incursions.
Then the third issue is around mobile phone applications, and I think that's been the area that's been growing fastest.
Yes,
in
this is an extremely exciting area, and it's very gratifying to see how many young developers are coming out with new applications, stimulated to some extent by the M-Pesa phenomenon in Kenya. But there are so many other new enterprises that are developing mobile services and mobile applications. And so what we're doing in conjunction with Nokia and also iHub and the M-Lab and the ICT board is we're hosting at the event a mobile applications pavilion where we're going to provide space for 30 young innovators to show their products and to demo them and hopefully meet customers and partners and potential investors even. And so I think that's going to be a very exciting feature of the event.
I've once interviewed a group of ladies, coincidentally from iHub,
yes,
who are expressing one of the challenges that they have had is they develop applications but are unable to find financiers or people to help their products move into the commercial stage.
Yes.
How do you hope to bring these two sides together?
Right. Well, I do think that the banks need to take a fresh look at this area of opportunity. I think it's very difficult for traditional bankers to understand the opportunities in the ICT field. They want to see proven products, proven track records, and so on. So it's very difficult for them to back these emerging enterprises from the early stages. But one of the presentations we have in the conference, for example, is looking exactly at that, new sources of funding for these enterprises. And the title of the presentation is Forget Wall Street, Try the Back Street. And basically this Kenyan entrepreneur is setting up a web portal to enable international venture capitalists who are interested in these sorts of enterprises to connect with the youngsters and be able to put some money up in a quick, low risk way, which where maybe a few individuals come together and back an enterprise, thereby sharing the risk. And so that that is one of the issues that we're going to be looking at in the conference.
Another risk that's also been raised by innovators is intellectual property.
Yes.
Because in this country it seems as if our laws are very lax on those who abuse intellectual property. Are you also looking at addressing that issue and how you can foster partnerships between the government and the software developers?
No, we're not covering that issue. I keep hearing this, that intellectual property rights are very tenuous in Kenya. I think that that's going to take some time to settle down, and I hope that with the new judicial appointments that the country has, that these sort of issues will be become clearer, and that a more secure business environment will be created that way, because it's absolutely essential. So, I don't think there's any quick fix for that, but I think there's great hope with this young, dynamic judiciary that is emerging in Kenya.
Okay, in terms of the attendance, who are you expecting to participate in this regional meeting?
Well, it's open to anybody who's involved in the ICT sector as a professional or manager. The entrance is free.